Hey everybody, and welcome to another Cricut craft tutorial. Before we get started, make sure you subscribe to my channel. It's totally free, and all you have to do is click the big red subscribe button down below. It should be right about here. Today we're going to talk about the Singe Quill, which is this really cool tool from We Are Memory Keepers, and they come in a pack of 2. You get a fine point and a bold. You can get these at pretty much any craft store. I will link these below for you. But we are going to show you guys how you can use them to make these really cool designs. I did this one over here with the fine point, and then I did this one with the bold. All you'll need is a piece of wood that needs to be 2 millimeters or less thickness. This is just a thin piece of balsa wood, as is this one. You will need the Singe Quill pens, and you will need some sort of a heat gun. A blow dryer will not work. You will need to use a heat gun on this. Let's go over to Design Space so I can show you guys how to set up your cactus so that it writes properly, and then I'm going to show you guys how to load your mat correctly so that your wood doesn't move, and I'm going to show you guys how to burn the wood.
So very similar to how you do your engraving, we are going to use the Singe Quill in a very similar way by using a single line drawing. You can really use anything you want, but the single line is going to look the most professional and the most solid. So what we're going to do is click on Upload. We're going to upload an image, and we're going to click on Browse, and we're going to find the cactus that I chose, which is this little guy right here. He's super cute. You can just choose simple or whatever you want. It doesn't matter with this. For some reason, this is asking us to clean it up, but we don't need to do anything. You are going to save it as a cut image and click on Save. Go ahead and insert that image into your design space, and we are definitely going to have to size this down quite a bit because he is way too big. You want to come over here and change this to draw, and you will see that unlike normally when it would kind of change and look like it would be a quick double line drawing, it doesn't change at all. Now I'm going to double check the sizing on our piece of wood that we're going to use, and then we will make sure that this is sized correctly. So our board is about 8 inches in size, probably closer to 9, but I want to make sure that this is going to fit without hitting any of the painter's tape that we need to put around it. We're going to go ahead and click on Make It. Now with this one, just like when you engrave, you need to make sure that you place this in a way that you have space around it to put your painter's tape. So that being said, I have lined mine up so that the edge of it is right about at the 2 and the 1 marks. So it's more over this direction, but our center is just about where 6 is, and we're going to kind of try to fit this so it's semi-centered. And you just do this by kind of looking at your mat and at your design and kind of get an idea of where the tape sits and where all of your other items are sitting on the mat. We're going to click on Continue, and it's going to ask us to select our material. And because we picked Draw, you can pretty much pick anything. When I did this, I just chose medium cardstock because I didn't want it to press super hard. Let's go over to the machine so that I can show you guys how to load the Singe Quill.
The Singe Quill comes in 2 different styles, a fine and a bold. I think for this one, we will go ahead and try the bold. So all you need to do is take the cap off of your quill, and I don't know how you can see that, but there is the tip. See if I can focus on it. And all we have to do, like I checked to make sure mine is wet and writing because this one is brand new. So what you want to do is use it on like a scrap piece of paper. And you'll see when you write on it, and I'll show you, that it'll leave like a residue. I don't know if you'll be able to see the residue, but it is leaving a residue. So to load your quill, you load it just like you would a pen. Mine does not need any of the adapters. This fits in just like a regular Cricut pen, and you just put it in just like you would a Cricut pen, and you'll hear it click. Close the button there. Make sure that your white wheels are out of the way. I'll move you guys back a little bit. Oops, wrong way. And you can see that I've moved my white wheels all the way over there. I do that so that it is out of the way of the wood. This is a really thin piece of, like, I would think it's balsa wood if I had to guess, but it's pretty thin. So we're going to wait till this thing lets us choose the Cricut button, and we're going to hit go, and then I'll let you guys watch it write. Now we just needed to unload, which we've done, and then you can just peel up your tape. And it won't look like it really did anything on the wood, but if you look really close, you can see a faint line of where it drew. Don't worry, it's totally there. But the first thing, like I said, you gotta do is get all of the painter's tape up. It is very important to put the painter's tape on this, even if you're using a very sticky mat, because you can tend to it'll lift a little bit when it's trying to pull it under the rollers. So now what we're gonna do is get the heat gun going, and I'm gonna show you guys how to do this. I'm going to try to show you this best I can. If this gets a little loud, I apologize. I do have a Black & Decker heat gun. I am going to try to keep my heat gun away from anything that it can damage. And I'm going to turn it on high. I've tried this a couple times and high works best. And what you'll do is, again, keep your hands out of the way. But you're going to begin by warming up the wood to a point. And you are going to run your heat gun all over the wood. And you're not going to see anything appear for a little bit. It does take a little while for your lines to show up, but they will. Be aware that if you have a smoke detector, it may set that off. So that's something to keep in mind when you're doing this. Now, like I said, this has two settings, so there's low and high. I've tried it on the low. It does not work. Highly recommend the high, but you don't want to hold it in one spot or too terribly long, because you will burn the wood and not just the design. Now I am starting to see some of that design come through. Can you see it? Look at that. How fun is this? Now I think you can pretty much do this for as long as you need to, but just like I said, be careful. This does get hot. This can set off a smoke detector. I don't always recommend doing this in the house. I don't tend to do this in the house, but when it's real cold outside and I have no other options and I want to show you guys this cool new toy, I'm going to do it in the house. But again, for your own safety, please do these outside in a safe area, away from anything flammable or meltable or anything like that. Now look at how cute this is coming out. Now there is a little knot in the wood right here where it didn't totally write very well, but that's absolutely okay. And you'll notice the longer that I hold the heat gun over the spots, the darker they become. So you can absolutely make these lighter or darker depending on the design and what you want it to look like. And all you do is just run your heat gun all over the wood. Now this will not work with a blow dryer or anything like that, because it has to be pretty warm and your blow dryer is not going to get hot enough to do this. So I'm going to get this part just a little darker. And the cool thing is you can add vinyl to this if you wanted to. You can do all sorts of stuff. Let me get this turned off and set down safely, because the tip of it gets very, very warm. And look at how cool. Isn't that neat? And you can absolutely go over the rest of your wood if you would like it to kind of match, because you can see there is some discoloration, but that's totally normal. It's from heating up the wood. But look at how fun. And this was done with the bold pen. I have done other ones with the fine pen as well, and it works really, really well. Like I said, you do need to use a pretty thin wood for this. This is just a really thin piece of balsa wood. I don't think it tells me how thick this wood is. It does not, but it is a really thin wood and it's soft, so that's something to keep in mind. If you're putting it through your Cricut, you will need to use something very, very thin. I hope you guys had a really fun time learning how to use the Singe Quill by We Are Memory Keepers. I have linked them down below for you guys. They are really, really fun and they are so cute. This one was done with our fine point pen, and then this one was done with our bold. This is a very detailed style. And again, a great way to find designs for these is to look for foil quill or single line designs. If you guys have any questions, please let me know in the comments down below. I am always happy to answer those for you. Make sure you subscribe to my channel. I put out new videos on Wednesdays and Saturdays. Hit the bell icon because that will alert you to when I post a new video. Have a great day and happy crafting.